Hello, everyone. Welcome to Empower Your Soul. I am here with, I'm going to say, a little bit of a unique episode today in terms that I felt really inspired to come on here and hit record because I have a mediumship demonstration tonight. So the current date, although it's going to be a few weeks later after you hear this, the current date is December 30th. And tonight I am doing a fundraising event, an online mediumship demonstration for my dear friend Michaela, who is raising money for nurses aid, hoping to travel to Honduras and do a little bit of nursing work there as part of I can't remember the organization, but as part of an organization. And I just thought it was a perfect opportunity to talk about what goes on energetically as the medium on the day of a demonstration. And when I say a day, it's probably hours before. And as I'm recording this, apologies if the sound is a little wonky because this is exactly what's happening is that my microphone keeps going in and out. It keeps going in and out. So I'm sitting here with my Yeti microphone in front of me. And just like every time I record any of my podcast episodes, but of course today it likes to bounce back between the Yeti and act like it's not plugged in. So, like energetically on the days of demonstrations, things that are weird happen quite frequently. It's just really interesting to me because this is totally normal, and I don't think a lot of people realize how normal this is for mediums to have like weird things going on before a demonstration. So I'm going to go through a few of the examples of what's happening today with me. Um, and then what I'm going to do is after the session tonight, I might pop back on and for the rest of the so let's recap what happened, kind of what I feel after the session. Um, so, so what's happening? I'm going in and out as I'm trying to record this and literally just went out again. So I said that. Stop showing off, spirit. Let me make sure this is good. I'm sorry if it sounds bad. I'm gonna redo this. Please hold 1 second. I hope you don't mind. I don't know what's causing all this ruckus besides the dead people in my house. Oh, is it gonna work? I don't know if it's gonna work. Oh, there it goes. I'm gonna play this back and see what the difference is because now it's back on my Yeti. So what's been happening over the past 24 hours is I haven't done much in the last 24 hours personally. So I've hung out with some family that's in town for the holidays. I took my son and his friend to a trampoline park today. But what's interesting is that no matter where I go, when it's before a demonstration, spirits always come by to say hi or kind of, I think, like introduce themselves to me and let me know that they're around. So, case in point, over the last 24 hours, I have had a man that feels like he passed before his time. And I'm not going to like read him because I'm just recording this right now, but I feel like he passed a little bit before his time, but he was an alcoholic. And the reason I know that is because I'm sitting there typing up something on my laptop while I'm at the trampoline park and I just smell stale beer. Stale beer. And when the smell comes up, I realized that, wait, this isn't the first time that I smelled this because I actually smelled this yesterday too. Where I don't even remember where I was yesterday, but all of a sudden I got this whiff while I was driving in the car of stale beer. And I'm like, who is that? Who is that? We have alcoholics that run in my family, but like they've never come forward to me with starting with the smell of alcohol. So it's been interesting to me because I'm like, I've tried to figure out yesterday, couldn't figure out who it was. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting there today in the trampoline park and there that smell is again. So this person is obviously coming in beforehand, and I feel like he's a very nervous energy. I feel like he's a very nervous soul that wants to make sure that he can get through. So that has been happening to me, which is super interesting, right? And now that now that we're like 3 to 4 hours out from the demonstration right now, I've acknowledged him. I don't know if he's going to come I know that she didn't like to drive. Fucking so. And as I'm talking right now, I'm just gonna say, hey, ghost, stop fucking with my mic. It keeps going in and out. I'm gonna switch my ports. You can't make this shit up. I swear to God. And I'm not re-recording this because I'm stubborn as hell. So here, let's plug it into a different port and hopefully that worked this time. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Anyway, and then the last thing that's happened so far in the last 24 hours, these ghosts, I'm going to kill them. Good thing they were already dead. And the last thing that's happened in the last 24 hours is while I was driving home from the trampoline park today, obviously I live a very exhilarating life. I went one place in the last 24 hours. I was playing old songs. And by the way, like all of the songs that popped up on my playlist were like whiny emo songs. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a mood tonight. And then all of a sudden the Verve Freshman came on, and then like my stereo died. Like my stereo shut off right after he says I died, she died, or I died or something. And then it went off. And I was like, Jesus Christ, little dramatic ghost. Are you a little dramatic? And then once I got it back going on, some Panic at the Disco finally came on. I love Panic at the Disco. And in the middle of the song, it sounded like it was like the Beastie Boys doing like that, you know, with the record. And like we're talking about emceeing and stuff like that. And it sounded like the record, like someone scratched a record and then a new song came on, and it was Hoobastank, The Reason. And if you're not familiar with Hoobastank, because I know that's an era, I had to go look up the lyrics. I was like, this is the most freaking depressing song ever. The lyrics go, and I'm not going to sing it, even though I normally would. I'm not a perfect person. There's many things I wish I didn't do, but I continue learning, and I never meant to do those things to you. And so I have to say before I go, are you singing along? Just want you to know, I found a reason for me to change who I used to be, and the reason to start over new, and the reason is you. And then I'm sorry that I hurt you. It's something I have to live with every day. So I don't know. Very strange. And then that song came on, and when the energy of that song came on, I'm like, holy shit, like they're prepping me for the messages that I have to give tonight. So stay tuned. I am definitely going to give an update, but I just love how spirit gives me these little nuggets of gold and these energy. And I'm at the same point being like, why do they do that? Like, why, like mediumship ethics 101 is don't read before the person comes, but these ghosts fucking come at me before the sessions, and they bug me before events because I think they're trying to elbow in and get in and let me know I really want to be read tonight. I think they're people who are attending the demonstration, their loved ones are putting them up and saying like, you better show up. So I think that they're coming to me being like, I have to be there. I was told to show up. So that's what it's like. And then other than that, besides those specific examples, I have to tell you, like me personally, as an energy before these sessions, I feel very just unsettled. I feel like there's a lot of energy around me that I know is not mine. Like I, right now, simultaneously want to clean the office so it's spotless. I want to go outside and want to go for a walk. I want to go take a nap. And then I want to like go drink a gallon of water. And these are all energy feelings that are happening to me all at once. So I know that it's not me. I can't be I can't want to go for a walk and nap at the same time. So I know that there is multiple kind of layers of energies around me right now. And me as an empath just absorbs all of that energy of the spirits that are around me. And then, I mean, if I look in my mind's eye out at my property, because in case you didn't know, I don't let spirits into my house unless like I'm doing a reading right. So everything that I've told you has happened outside of my house. It was in the car. It was at the trampoline park, right? Like spirits are actually not allowed on my property. And the reason I do that is because I have been described by my team as a bonfire in the night. So I naturally just attract spirits that are roaming, and you could say ghosts, whatever you want to say, but naturally, because of the light bright that I give off, I'm like a bonfire in the night, and spirits will come to me, regardless whether I'm a medium or whether they're just roaming the earth. So in order to protect myself, I set angels in the corners of my property, and I tell my angels, please do not let anyone in that I do not know. That is not for my highest and my best good. And if I don't know them, I don't want them on my property. So as I look in my mind's eye, and by the way, like my seat where I'm sitting right now, I have a road, probably, I don't know, 20, 25 feet in front of my house. It's a quiet road. It's not loud or anything like that, but I do have a road in the front of my house. So in my mind's eye, I can see 12 spirits lined up right now. 12 spirits, 12. They're not coming on my property. They're waiting in the road. So yeah, I see them all, and I know they're here for tonight. And I know now that I've said that, I'm probably going to read 12 spirits tonight, but they are very patiently waiting outside. And the energy I'm feeling is like all of the energy that they kind of sent in with me before I came into this room, before I came onto my property. It was all of their energy, like leaving little fingerprints on me so that I would remember them. So hopefully I will read them. Does that make sense? That's what my team's showing me in my head. So that's what it's like. So what will I do over the next few hours before I get into this reading tonight? Like, number one, I know I always say mediums shit a brick before their sessions. Generally, there's few exceptions to that. I am not personally nervous about tonight. I want to make sure I do a good job, but I'm not nervous. I know I can talk to the dead, but I'm definitely feeling nerves in my energy to make sure that I'm getting a clear message. So I will probably do my best to clear any residual energy from me that hinders my ability to be my best self in this reading. So that looks like I'm probably going to go drink literally a gallon of water, probably soon, so I don't have to get up and pee in the middle of the demonstration tonight. I will probably honestly like go for a walk, and keep those spirits at bay while I'm walking on my road, right? I will probably get a little snack, and then right before I start the demonstration, I'll probably have something that's like totally filled with sugar to give me that energy burst. But other than that, I'm just going to try to lay low for the rest of the afternoon and try to rest and relax the best I can. So stay tuned for what happens this evening for the demonstration, and I will record that just in a little bit. But until then, I will chat with you. I will probably cut this out because it sounds ridiculous for me to say goodbye, or not. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to stop recording now, and then I will continue recording after the demonstration. All right. Thank you. Ding. Sorry about that weird, awkward ding. I didn't know how else to transition. So it is now the next day after the demonstration. And I have to say, it was a really fun event. I have to say that before the last time I recorded this, the part you just heard, I felt really good after I recorded. I felt good. My energy like felt calm and stable. And as soon as I talked about the spirits that were bothering me and giving anxiety, like it all went away. And so I left and I was feeling amazing. But in true to form, spirit always likes to throw things through the loop and put me through the ringer before demonstrations or events. And I know I am not the only one this happens to. I know there are mediums out here listening to this right now and being like, yeah, what happened? Because we know something happened, because something always happens when you have these events. And I don't know why. I don't know like why the cataclysmic energy comes together and it causes things to break down and fall apart before the session. It all comes together just the way that it's supposed to, which makes me freaking laugh, because I told my husband 6:30, I need to be sitting in my seat, getting ready and getting in the zone for this session tonight, because it started at 7:00 at night. True to form, spirit had me home at 6:30. sitting in my seat, getting ready for it. It wasn't what I expected the afternoon to look like, but I was there. So thank you, Spirit, for, keeping my time box and expectations. And I'm going to be very clear about the other expectations, because what happened essentially is the technology just fell apart yesterday afternoon. So when people went to go buy tickets last minute, Acuity decided that it was going to put a 12-hour lead time on my tickets to close the sales. So closing the ability to purchase tickets 12 hours before the session. Took me probably about an hour and a half to figure that out yesterday, because there were two different settings I had to change, not just one, two different settings that I had to change. I found the first one very quickly. Second one was like hidden and buried into like certain calendars under certain product types. It was a fiasco. So eventually I figured that out, sent the note off to the two people who were like, hey, where are the tickets? I can't buy the tickets. So that was frustrating yesterday. Thanks, Acuity. Very I love it. I love the product, but not the most intuitive, especially when there's a global setting and then a calendar specific setting. Was unaware. Thank you. I am now educated. And then also, about an hour and a half, 2 hours before the session started, I got a couple of messages and emails saying, hey, is the link? Where's the link for this? And I was like, it's in the receipt. And then like in my mind, I was like, shit, it's not in the receipt, is it? Because I wouldn't get multiple inquiries. Like one-off user error, maybe, but multiple user errors, probably me as a user error, right? So I very quickly looked at the invitation, saw the link was missing. And then I was like, mother trucker. I was in line at McDonald's trying to get my kids some dinner before the session. And I had to post a really quick social media post saying, hey, sorry, there's no link. I'm not sure what happened. I'll send it out. I'll email it out. No problem. No big deal. Right. And what happened was, essentially, when I set up the new quote unquote product type service offering on Acuity, the Zoom integration does not automatically apply to that. So public service announcement, everybody, if you're adding service offerings into Acuity and it's virtual, you have to manually go into the integrations, click on Zoom, and then click on that new event type. So lesson number 2 for me, I haven't added new events in a while. So why wouldn't that just be default, everybody? I don't know, but that caused me to be in front of my computer at 6:30 before this session to get the link out to everybody. So that happened too. In addition, like, it's just no surprise. It's no surprise that all of these fiascos happened over and over and over again. So I did sat down, I kind of centered my energy before the session, and it ended up being such a great night. There were 10 individuals that attended the session. We were able to read everybody. So I went pretty significantly over, but I felt bad. Like, I don't want 8 out of the 10 to get readings. That's not fair. And everyone, I don't mind. I got nothing to do. I've already sacrificed my evening, and what this technology made me want to be like, oh, everyone's getting a reading now, because I'm so angry at my technology. So everyone ended up getting a reading. I went over by about 30 minutes in the readings. And then I stayed after for Q&A, because I love the kinds of questions people have. And that was a really, really great time. And then I loved the spirits and the messages that came through. And I'm just gonna pause for like half second and ask Spirit if there's anything in particular. I think it was really interesting, because there were a lot of common themes across the evening. The spirits were very kind to me. They did generally keep separate from each other. There was a little bit of overlap at the end of the spirit, like moving into the next spirit. There was a little bit of transition time where I could feel someone else come in, or there was an evidence someone couldn't take. And I'm like, okay, sorry, that's going to be the next person that comes through. So spirit was very subtly probably trying to keep me on track and move along so that I wouldn't have to go significantly over like I did. So they tried. But there were just some amazing common themes, which always happens in demonstration or event nights where there are common themes. Things happen over and over again, and spirits will reference each other's readings. So one woman had recently lost her husband. I kept seeing hearts everywhere. She said that she saw dimes, for example. And then later on, a spirit reference, like finding a dime or having a dime drop, or at the drop of a dime. And like, they didn't say drop of a hat, they said drop of a dime. So it's just, I get into channel mode when these messages come through. And I think a lot of people probably are like, oh, she probably said that on purpose. But it's just really interesting to me how spirit will weave the story in and out so that it's really like an event for you from start to finish. And even though you get a reading in it, like there's going to be a lot of references from every single reading that make it fun, for all of you. So if you did attend the event, I'd love to hear about it. Like, I'd love to hear what your perspective was, whether you enjoyed it or not. I had such a great time though. And what was so interesting to me is we did it a little bit mixed at the beginning. And normally I pull in a spirit and I let whatever spirit wants to come through in whatever order they want to come through, and deliver messages one at a time for people, one spirit at a time for people. And my team's like, we're going to do it differently. And that was really rad for me, because what we ended up doing is going person by person. And I just asked, who do you want to hear from? And it worked out pretty well. There were definitely other spirits that came in, said hi, left quickly, or like wanted to bow in and, you know, say a couple things or two. So we definitely had probably 1 to 2 additional spirits per person that popped in to say hi, even though I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole with every single one of them. So, I mean, everybody got multiple readings, which was super cool. And then as I was picking out who's getting the reading, like spirit would point who to go to next for me, which was really cool. And even like the second one, I was like, I'm coming to you. And she's like, I knew you were coming to me because I felt my gut drop. And I was like, yep, that's so yes. So I'm coming to you first. And then the first person, I'm like, who's had the headache? Because I had a headache all day. And I knew exactly who that was and what spirit they were going to ask for. So that was pretty cool too. Cause this spirit's been bugging me for a while. So thankful for that person for coming. But overall, it was just a really cool, rad experience. I love doing fundraisers. I love doing events. So if you are interested in doing a fundraiser or an event, I am in for that. I love it. We were able to help support Michaela in fundraising for her Honduras trip. So I think overall we contributed, I think $400 last night across the 9 people. And then I contributed some extra for her. So I hope she's well on her way, and I hope she'll be able to move on to the next round of fundraising. And then afterwards, maybe like a little preview of what it's like after a session for a medium. Afterwards, I was wired. Like absolutely. I left, and you know, it was 10 o'clock at night. This is a holiday vacation day. The family's been up really late though, like the entire time, but nobody was up in the house. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So afterwards, I opened, like I had a glass of wine, and thank you. I'm like, spirit is leading me exactly where I'm supposed to go. Had a glass of wine, sat down to watch a little more Long Island Medium to Risa Caputo. And I was so unsettled, and I couldn't figure out, like, I couldn't sit, I couldn't relax. I didn't feel comfortable. And I was like, oh man. And then I started recalling all the spirits that I was talking to. So I did in fact get that alcoholic person that came through. I misgendered that person. And the reason I misgendered that person is because that person has very masculine energy. So I could feel the masculine energy, but it was in fact a woman. That was on me. But 100% alcoholic came through. I did end up having what was the other one? The Hoobastank reference made sense for the first reading of the night. So that made a complete sense to me, but no one could and throughout the night, I kept asking, like, is this grandmother really nervous? Do they really hate dry? And she's like, no. And I'm like, who is this? And so when I sat down after the session, I'm like, who had the nervous Nelly grandmother? No one took her. I like kept thinking, nope, no one took her. So she was an orphaned spirit for the session. Sit down, uncomfortable, can't settle down. I checked my Instagram messages, and one of my dear friends was like, oh, I forgot to buy tickets. She messaged me at like 7:30. She's like, oh, I wanted to go. I forgot to buy tickets. And I'm like, oh. And then I asked, is your grandmother a nervous Nelly? And she said, only when driving. So I was like, it was your grandmother that visited me earlier in the day, because I was, as you heard earlier, like white knuckling, getting nervous, had to kick her out. So I sent her this quick little video I did before, and she's like, oh my God, that is 100% my grandmother. So I was able to, through message, it was like 10:30 at night. So I didn't want to call her. It was very late. But through our messages, we exchanged back and forth. I was able to give her the message that her grandmother wanted her to get as well, which was super freaking cool. Once that was done, I felt calm. So I just think I'm going to like recap this really quick, but I think it's so interesting that spirit knows exactly who is going to come or who I'm going to interact with before the session. So they definitely knew the Hoobastank person was coming. They knew that the alcoholic one was coming, but she came through. The spirit came through before that person bought the tickets. Isn't that interesting? Right? Like before that, I knew that person was even signed up. So, and the Hoobastank person was also before that other person signed up, but I knew he was going to be there because he's a player. He's a major player in like the event. So I knew he was going to be there. So I wasn't surprised there, but it's so interesting that the nervous Nelly grandmother driver that hated driving, she came through before, and her granddaughter did not buy a ticket. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? She intended to buy a ticket, but she didn't. Like, I don't even know what to say about that. She knew she was going to get the message in one way or another because we were friends. This is what spirit is telling me in my ear right now. Doesn't matter that she didn't show up because she knew there was going to be an interaction. And even if she was there, I would have delivered the message there, but because she wasn't there, she still found a way for her granddaughter to reach out to me so I could deliver the message. So there are no accidents. She knew we were going to interact. Okay. That was my question. Thank you, team. While I have you, so yeah, all those spirits were taken, which was super cool. And then while I'm here, I'm just going to ask my team if they want to channel a message or a summation of the event for me, because I always kind of like to chat with them afterwards and assess how it went. And I'll be honest, I haven't done it yet because I was up way too late last night decompressing from the energy, and I'm exhausted and wiped today. So let me ask them. Okay, so I'm just going to channel what I'm hearing from them, and I'm hearing that they thought it went really well. They really appreciated all the positive energy of the people who attended the event. Everyone was very open, very excited, very honest in delivering the yeses, the nos, the maybes in terms of the evidence. Not everything hit, but not everything is going to hit, because if everything hit, then you're not pushing your energy hard enough, far enough, and you're not challenging yourself to receive the difficult information and the information and evidence that is going to expand you as a medium and help you become better and better and more accurate. So in terms of the quality of the people that attended the event, they are thrilled. I know that their departed loved ones are so excited that they were able to deliver the messages to them. And I know a lot of those messages needed to be heard. And I know I'm hearing from them that those people are going to replay it and hear even more things or have more aha moments based on the evidence that I gave them that they couldn't take at that time. So I'm not sure who had the cancer reference. I saw a yellow bow. It wasn't like a cancer bow. You know what I'm talking about? It was like more like a bow with like a ribbon. But it was cancer. So they're going to figure out who that was, whoever I said that to. Sorry, I'm just waiting for and it's funny because this is what happened last night. It's like the message would just stop in the middle of it. So I'm going to ask them what that meant when the message just stopped in the middle of it. And they're telling me it's time to slow down and let the energy and the message sink in, and that there's something formulating, there's something brewing, and it's okay to take a couple of deep breaths. And that is your time for you to realize that something is resetting and there's new energy coming in and there's new messages coming in. So time to just take a sip of water, time to take a pause, let the new information flow in, or use it as a time to interact with the audience in a funny way, like they're creating an opening for me. So I need to take advantage of that and use that to give spirit time to get their messages in while being entertaining for the audience. That's interesting. All right. I think that's all I had, because now the message is slowing down. I can feel that. I don't know if you're into energy and can feel the energy. The energy just changed and they just stepped back. So that is my summation of the mediumship demonstration event. I am going to follow up with, I think, one to two. I'm going to say, I think it's definitely one, maybe two podcast episodes about specific spirits that came through, because it was really very interesting. And I think it was a really good lesson for me and good epiphany for me. So I'm going to say that for another episode, but I just want to thank all of the lovely attendees of the event. I want to thank Michaela for letting me host and being open to that. And I wanted to thank all of the amazing spirits, people and pet, who came through and to deliver those amazing messages for the people who needed them at this fundraising event. So thank you to every single one of you. With that being said, I'm going to say be on the lookout for other, I don't even like the online demonstrations, but Spirit's like, you need to do more of them. So I guess be on the lookout for more online demonstrations to come. All right, I'm signing off. Thanks so much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.